Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your #1 source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we have your Elimination Chamber reactions. WrestleMania starts coming more into view. We have New Japan Battle in the Valley. There's a new NJPW Women's Champion, and her name is Mercedes Moné. AEW Dynamite last night. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. All right, I can't remember.
Oh, shit. This is not good.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. I am your host, Bill Vagey, as always, a.k.a. Okay, here's the rest of the Black History Month.
Here we go.
AKAs that we didn't use. Spark Henry, Martin Luther Ring, Martin Haku Thur Ring. Oh, wait, Martin Haku Thur King Jr. Rosa Smarks. Don't know Selma finisher. Jackie Robinson, Ida B. Sells, Gordon Smarks, Degener Malcolm X, The Million Man Marks.
Oh, no.
K. Fiba Angelou, Harriet Hot Tubman, Martin Luther Aggression King Jr., Justin Stun, Owen Stun, Kamala, the Ugandan Giant Harris,
Oh, no.
Fannie Lou, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Jesus Christ.
And sitting across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB? I'm sorry. I fucked a bunch of those up. The one I like a whole bunch is Martin Hakuther Jr. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
What's going on, JCB?
That's pretty wordy, dude. Yeah, as I say, yeah, you unloaded the quip on that shit. It's like, oh, it's the last week of February? Oh, shit, hang on. Hold my beer. I'll be right back.
Happy Black History Month, everybody.
On that level, we know now, but ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 296. Chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart says, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. The boards are back. We're going to talk a little wrestling. God bless them. I love Black History Month just for that AKA segment alone. You know, I ain't even going to talk about, you know, the 400 years of oppression.
What beatdown don't make up for 439 years of oppression?
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the AKAs.
And sitting out there in Portland, Oregon, we have our Two Beer Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer?
BFR West is in the house.
Oh, man, you know, I'll do the typical thing and just talk about the weather. We had some historic snowfall here in Portland, so snow day for me, which is kind of cool. Also means something different than it did when I was a kid. It means something different than it did when I was in my early 20s, because a snow day usually just turned into a snow 3 days and then a long sleep. But, yeah, the news said there was 10.8 inches. That's a lot of inches. Probably more realistically 6. We tend to exaggerate things like that. But
speaking of snow meaning something different in your 20s than it did later on, did you see this weekend where Tony Khan called Ariel Helwani Snowman? And
no, Ariel Helwani called Tony Khan Snowman.
That's what I said, isn't it?
No, you said the other way around.
Oh, yeah. Ariel Helwani called Tony Khan Snowman, and I was thinking that he was calling him a cokehead. But I guess he was,
yeah, that's exactly what he was doing.
But what he said that he calls people snowmen when they can't handle hot questions. So anytime, like when he did the one-on-one interview with them, is that he couldn't take the heat. That's why I call him a snowman. I think that's covering for something. I think he was just calling him a cokehead, right?
Uh-oh.
100%. He was 100%, and it might have been just a double entendre, but there is no way that meaning was lost on Ariel whenever he called him that, because there were so many people just like, oh, roasted.
We're gonna get to AEW later, but I will say this about Tony Khan's big announcement last night: he didn't blink one fucking time. Jason and I are sitting out here in beautiful St. Charles, Missouri.
Holy
Vice is going to be
shit.
stopping by later to giggle with Jason and try to fuck up the podcast, but you know, Zach and I will try to keep it going. So, welcome back, Zach. We missed you last week while you were at the Titty Club. We got your Elimination Chamber predictions. I have not counted up the points, but hey, Elimination Chamber was nothing if not newsworthy. There's a lot to talk about, so let's quit beating around the bush and get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
We will talk about the aforementioned Elimination Chamber coming in from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Outside of the home of Sami Zayn, who obviously in the main event against one Roman Reigns, 5-card match a card, or what, 5 matches on the card. Obviously, the Elimination Chambers ate up a good chunk of the card itself with the men's and the women's. Then you had, in no particular order, the Grit Couple versus Judgment Day, Lesnar and Lashley, and then obviously the main event. Fuck it, let's just dive right into it. The main event, obviously, Roman Reigns defending the Undisputed Universal title against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn having a huge home court advantage. This felt a lot like the John Cena, Rob Van Dam match. I think that was the one-night stand where John Cena was going into enemy territory. I believe that was the 2300 Center in Philadelphia, the old ECW arena, and this had a lot of similarities to that. Roman coming out first, I thought was amazing, just kind of soaking it all in, getting the obligatory boos out of the way. Montreal was a hot crowd from pretty much the start to the finish. I love the fact that they were ready to play. They knew what was going to happen, or at least the possibility was going to happen, and they were very vocal from the start. Just the match itself, not a huge surprise that Roman Reigns goes over. Obviously, the Usos coming out is one of the big surprises. I'm not a legal expert by any stretch of the imagination, but the next time this kind of opportunity comes up, I will go get legal counsel so that way I don't get dogged on our group thread. I wasn't aware that Jimmy and Jay could cross the border to go into Canada, and that was one of the big things that you knew Roman was going to win. How he was going to win was the question, with Solo Sikoa being the one person that I thought could do the damage. I thought he would be in play. Obviously not the case.
I do think it goes without saying to not take legal advice from Samir.
Actually, that was Sharif. So that was the other thing I was going to say.
Sharif. Okay. Maybe you're forgiven.
Well, maybe if you were here, you got the Meltzer review of all that other good shit. You could have chimed in and just been like, hey, Jason, you're wrong. Jimmy and Jay can cross the border.
I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
Everybody,
I thought it was just fun to make fun of you.
I think that everybody was confused about it, though. Like, I don't even think Meltzer knew.
Apparently, Meltzer was one of the few that said that they could cross the border. Others didn't know. Whichever, I don't give a shit.
But WWE certainly tried to, work the dirt sheets and work the smarks by having Heyman telling Jay and Jimmy not to show up and to stay home. That sometimes you see more on TV than you do in person. They were certainly. I mean, there was all sorts of information flying around. Like,
without question,
who the fuck knows?
No, and credit to WWE, Triple H, they played into it. And when Jimmy came out, I was like, oh, okay. Game on.
I'll tell you what, when Jay walked out and he just kind of walked in the middle of the ring,
I was like, oh.
We were over here. It was me, Vice, Tender, and my buddy Ben. And when he walked out, we were all like, where the fuck did he come from?
No shit.
I mean, I popped big for that.
Yeah, because
and he didn't even look angry. He just walked real calmly in the middle. I was like, what the fuck? It was a very cool moment.
So obviously we have the post-match, I guess, for lack of a better word, scrum, where Jay, Jimmy, Roman, Heyman all in the ring, and it basically feels like this is Royal Rumble all over again. Roman hands Jay the chair, basically the same camera angle, same setup. It looks different. It doesn't look different. It's just, who's on the ground getting ready to catch that work is the biggest thing, and it looks different. Instead of KO, it's Sammy. You see Jay with the chair. You see the camera view kind of sneak behind or whatever. And that's when I was like, is he getting ready to blast this dude? that's where it really got interesting, just in the sense that you never knew what exactly Jay was going to do. And then the fact that he stopped and didn't blast Roman. Once again, another intriguing portion of this bloodline angle that you have going on. Roman ready to see this thing happen. Jay's not ready to do it. And then I guess the swerve that I didn't see coming happens, where Sami goes after Roman, hits Jay in the process, and now I think you have a kind of a catalyst to ultimately get KO Sami versus the Usos at WrestleMania. Obviously, we'll talk about KO here on Monday night, but ultimately, I thought this was a really good match. It was a little overbooked at the end, but this is the Roman Reigns run. There's going to be interference. There's going to be overbooking, but it made it up in the end, where now you still don't know what's going on. And Friday night, once again, is going to be a much-watched episode because there's still questions lingering in the bloodline, mostly.
Zach, what were your thoughts?
So, initial thoughts, you guys saw my pick. It was Roman, and that was me, picking with my head, and that was my heart, because I actually picked Sami to be in the Royal Rumble, or to win the Royal Rumble, even though he wasn't even announced to be in it. Honestly, it was one of the most deflating things I've ever experienced. I just thought that once I actually saw the show and got to the show, I watched it from a cabin on the mountain. We went and had fun on the mountain this weekend. Super cool, sledded and stuff. During the day, got back, was nursing a big hangover from the strip club on Thursday 2 days earlier. So I was just drinking Coca-Colas and CBDs. And I watched
a part of me wants to feel sorry for you. I just don't.
You and I do hangovers differently.
I just don't.
I just keep drinking.
I was about to say, stop being a puss. Man up. Get you a fucking beer. Smoke some fucking weed, and get back on the goddamn horse.
Let that man live.
Yeah. So I was happy to have Elimination Chamber to kind of chill with, and my kids were super into it too. They really enjoyed it because of the atmosphere. And they were so behind Sami Zayn, and they were so into it. And even Tara, who hates wrestling, was with his family right there. She was super invested. Anyway, I'll agree with Jason. I love that Roman came out first. That was surprising. And then just the crowd, and I was like, man, if they weren't planning on giving Sami this title, they should now. Even after Friday with the phenomenal ovation that he got whenever, he did a 60-second promo, but it took him 10 minutes because they just wouldn't stop cheering and clapping for him. The reason I was upset, and I mean, this is a great match. The drama was there. Those guys worked it fantastic. And the reason I was upset is because I just feel like something was stolen from the fans. And it was just it was just very Vince. WWE not being able to get out of their own way. I mean, the only thing that this was missing was at the end, Wayne Gretzky coming out and singing Country Roads or some shit. Because it was the Drew McIntyre situation, only times 20. Because you guys remember how Clash at the Castle, that was a great atmosphere, right?
Yes.
And you're oh man, they could do something really cool right now. And that would have been cool. This was that literally times 10. This could have been even cooler. This is if Daniel Bryan would have lost at WrestleMania 30. That's what I'm analogizing this to. Sami Zayn is hotter than Daniel Bryan was at that time. Sami Zayn's hotter than anything in the entire company. This is if Mankind would have lost on Raw and not won the title and not turned the tide for the Monday Night Wars, and then fucking Eric Bischoff's podcast would be called 105 weeks or something. I don't fucking know, but it wouldn't be 83. So it's just, I don't know, man. Just get out of your own way. What is so bad about changing the title and just, even if you didn't want to do Sami versus Cody for WrestleMania, even if you wanted it to be Roman, just have him win it on TV or something. What does it matter to hold on to this thing because Cody's not going to gain anything from it. But this would have been everything for the fans, everything for Sami. And I'm not like so mad I'm not going to watch. It's just weird to me because like they want to make money and they're doing business. Like you can look at Sami Zayn as moving numbers more than anybody in the company. He's carrying Raw and SmackDown on his back. Sami Zayn, El Generico. And they're just not going to do it because he's this shorter, Syrian Canadian dude. They don't see him as a big timer. It's just weird to me because he is that big timer. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but very deflating, but an excellent match and a really good pay-per-view.
So this is the problem with going third on these first ones is because one of you guys, a lot of times steal my thunder. I'm going to get to what I think. I'm going to address what Zach just said about calling an audible here in a second. But first, let me talk about what did happen. Then I'll talk about what I think could have or maybe should have happened. What did happen was incredible. The pay-per-view was maybe the hottest crowd I've ever seen at a pay-per-view from front to back. Vice was here. He can attest. We all just kept saying, man, that crowd is on fire. They were on fire for everything. That super fun crowd, and that made the pay-per-view so much better. It certainly doesn't make you miss the Thunderdome days. I thought the match was incredible. I thought that it's a testament to the purists, the wrestling purists, the Bully Rays of the world, if you will, the ones that say that character means a lot more than in-ring ability, because this match was, I read that after the bell rang, they didn't touch the entire Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar match was shorter than the amount of time it took for Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns to touch. And when they did touch, it was punches in the corner, it was headlocks, it was chin locks. It was not a technical masterpiece.
Nor should it have been,
for whatever that means. I'm just saying, like, this was drama the whole way through. It was overbooked. That's fine. Like Jason said, that is kind of a hallmark of a Roman Reigns of the Roman Reigns reign, is that shit gets overbooked. Shit is there's storytelling within the ring. We go back to that Hell in the Cell match, those two title matches that Jay had a long time ago. But this was as fun as a main event match could get. I don't know what I was a little surprised that we didn't get a KO Sami Zayn reconciliation that night because the crowd would have gone nuts. I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised. If we weren't going to get it that night, I didn't want it on Raw either. I was pleasantly surprised at that.
That should take some time.
Yes. And I mean, if you're going to make it make sense, to use your phrase, but if you're going to make it make sense, yes, it should take a little bit more time. Because kayfabe style, these guys really do have a long history, and it shouldn't just be that simple.
Agreed.
KO's explanation for it on Raw was perfect.
Go get Jimmy or go get Jay. I was like, uh-oh. Oh, shit. Tell him. Tell him.
All that being said, Roman Reigns has been champion for 900-plus days, whatever it is. And I know that means a lot to some people. That don't mean shit to me. He has been champion for long enough. I thought that WWE was all about making moments. Sami Zayn winning at Montreal.
He just raised his leg up and just pissed on that 900-day reign.
Well, I mean,
fuck yo 900 days.
Okay, it's 900. It's 900 days. That's a fucking really long time. Sami Zayn winning in Montreal. Zach brought up Mick Foley. It would have been Mick Foley times 1,000. It would have been the most shocking, biggest title change in the modern era of WWE. And I don't think that's really arguable. I don't think there's. I
won't go that far.
I'll give you some time. Go ahead and think of one that would have been bigger.
The Mankind one was bigger, easily, in a scenario where WWE was getting their teeth kicked in. on a weekly basis. You put the title on Mankind?
That crowd, my living room would have gone fucking bonkers. Montreal would have gone fucking bonkers. And like Zach said, which I honestly I was going to say, you have Sami win at Montreal. You have a moment of all moments, right? And then you have Roman on Raw immediately invoke his rematch clause, have the rematch on SmackDown. You draw a huge rating on SmackDown because it's basically a premium live event. Sorry for saying that. A pay-per-view for on regular TV. Fox gets a huge rating. And then you have Jay turn on Sami on SmackDown. Roman wins the title again. You go back to Roman versus Cody, and then you set up the Jay versus Sami thing or KO, however you want to do it. You guys have professional writers that do it. It's not me. I'm not a professional writer. Maybe I should be. But that is easily, it would have been like Zach said, you got to get out of your own way sometimes. Sometimes you just have to pull the trigger. And I'll tell you,
two very frustrating things. A, the fans handed it to them. How hard do these bookers and wrestling companies work? And once a decade, maybe, the fans hand you something this big, it's handed to you. And, second, it's fake. You can do anything you want.
That's all right. It's not a real sport. You can do
a real sport.
You can do whatever you want. And you know what? Because it's not a real sport, the 900-day reign don't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's what are you trying to do? Are you trying to make him Bruno Sammartino? He already is. There are people that are watching Roman Reigns go through this, and there are people our age that are like, wow, it's the longest title reign since Hulk Hogan. There's a lot of people, Hulk Hogan might as well be Bruno Sammartino to them because he was wrestling before they were even born. But you could have, and now listen, I'm not saying Sami's not a made guy, and I'm also not saying that I'm that pissed off because I never expected it. Me and Jinder Mahal were sitting there looking at each other being like, there's no way he's going to win. Don't buy into it. There's no way he's going to win. Don't buy into it. We were tempering our expectations because it would have been crazy. But, man, if Sami would have won, that is that is an all-time moment. It was still, we're still going to be talking about this pay-per-view for years and years and years to come. But I tell you what, if he would have won, that's bigger than Kofi Mania. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I don't know if it's as big as Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania, considering it wasn't Daniel Bryan in Seattle at WrestleMania. Who knows what it would have been. But Montreal, that crowd, that guy, that moment, that is kismet. That only happens, that never happens that the stars align like that. And if you put the belt on Sami Zayn right there, you create a moment. I mean, an all-time moment. And
dude, it's like the Browns winning the Super Bowl in Cleveland, and the Super Bowl just happens to be in Cleveland that year.
We'd be way harsher on this, and this goes to say,
fuck,
and this goes to the Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar thing too. We'd be way harsher on this decision and then not pulling the trigger if Vince was still at the helm. No question. Now, Vince doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt like Triple H does, and I'm also not mad at Cody facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I'm not even saying that you basically, you gave me the pencil, and I told you how to figure it out. You do it on fucking SmackDown. You draw a massive rating, and then you have Jay turn on Sami Zayn, and then you have Kevin come out. It just writes itself. Jason.
As God is making sure I can't light my cigarette.
He wants you to talk.
Well, I can do two things at once. He knows I can multitask. I just think we're missing the big picture. And I get it. I
think that is the big picture.
The big picture is Cody winning the title. If Cody never gets hurt, I'm not sure we have this Sami Zayn butterfly effect spinoff that we have now in this scenario. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and say that Sami Zayn does not deserve to be the world heavyweight champion. If you had two titles, you could probably do it. Different discussion for a different time. That being said, this is about Cody Rhodes. It's not about Sami Zayn. Is it an amazing story? Yes. Would Montreal have gone bonkers if he would have won? Yes.
They went bonkers anyway after he lost. The pay-per-view went off the air with his music.
Yeah. But that's KO making the save the whole 9 yards.
Right there.
I get that too. I totally disagree about the Clash of the Castle comparison. Not even close. I was pissed off when I saw Tyson Fury and Drew McIntyre singing away a Drew McIntyre near loss to Roman Reigns. Pissed. This makes sense. As much as you could be pissed, and some people could be and should be pissed. I get that too. This actually advances a storyline. It's a different storyline. It doesn't have Sami Zayn being the champ, but it's a different storyline. So Sami Zayn can still be at WrestleMania. The bottom line is this. It is not about Sami. It has been about Cody since he's come back. If you want to put Cody, look, if you want to put Cody on the shelf because you want Sami to be the champ for 6 days, that's your business. I think that is not even a smart move. It destroys the long-term picture. Everybody just pump the brakes. I get it. It's just not Sami's time. This is Cody Rhodes' time. Plain and simple. Period.
I think that the WWE universe, the ratings, and the fans would all disagree with you because they would all say all signs point to this actually being Sami's time. Well, I said this fucking 6 months ago. I said Sami Zayn, he's in that Kofi spot. He's in that Dana Bryan spot. He's starting to get hot exactly the right time, and he should be in the WrestleMania main event. I'll say it again. I'm not mad that Cody's there, and I don't hate babyface Cody. I don't hate Cody telling this story about Dusty Rhodes being his dad. I don't care because even that's still fresh meat. It's not Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again. It's not Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. It's not Taker versus Reigns. It is fresh. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns is fresh, and there is a story to tell there. But I gave you a clear, I gave you a clear path to still get the Cody versus Roman Reigns and still give Sami Zayn that moment. The only reason that they didn't do it is because they're trying to protect this 900-day streak, which, by the way, they wrote. They wrote the streak. It's like being a writer on True Blood and being like, well, you can't kill old man Vampire Bill because he's been a badass for so long. It's like Vampire Bill is made up. Roman Reigns is made up. That's not his name. His name's Joe. Anyway, what do you think, Zach?
The streak only matters it only matters because of how you end it. I said that very poorly, but it only matters in the context of what it does. And Cody's story is to like win the title. That's great. Like I'll be happy for Cody like if he does it. It's gonna seem anticlimactic and obvious at this point. Like if he does, I almost feel like it was been saved for him. This would have been a surprise, and it would have just like you said. It's about making moments. This would have been the moment of the 2020s for WWE without question, and they let it slip through their fingers. And you can't ever get it back. You could maybe change your mind and like be like, okay, let's put them in a 3-way. At Mania, which they're not going to do, but I'm just saying like they could. But they could. You can do anything. You can split the titles up. You can say, okay, let's challenge for just one of these titles, and then he wins, and then Cody gets the other one, and whatever, unify him later or whatever. It's all made up. Thing
right.
is like you can never get it back, and it just I don't know.
You know what I'll never get back?
Triple H.
You know what I'll never get back? That True Blood comparison. I really fucked that one up, man. I could have come up with so many better comparisons. I don't know why I went with True Blood. I fucking hate that shit. I have no idea why I went with that. God damn. Can we rewind?
I say Sopranos is calling on line one.
Hey, I'm going to edit that out. I know I was thinking of it because that black chick, Tara from True Blood, was on Last of Us this last week, and I was thinking about how much I hate True Blood. It's just on the front of my brain. Anyway, I think it was a really fun match. What else happened at Elimination Chamber, Jason?
Let's start at the very beginning. We can go to the women.
I certainly don't want to seem like I'm shitting on it. Like, I thought that it was mega fun, and I don't think that the way they went was terrible either. I just think it could have been better. Sorry.
We can agree to disagree. I have no problem with that. Elimination Chamber Women's edition was the curtain jerker for this. Asuka ultimately ends up winning. Not a huge surprise. Probably my least favorite match of the bunch. It felt like this was the way it was supposed to happen. How we got from point A to point B is always my biggest question. What happens in between? Liv getting eliminated fairly early was a pretty big surprise. I mean, I'll be one of the first to say that I'm slowly starting to come around to Liv Morgan. I'm not a fan, but I will give her credit that
Roll the fuck up!
Her character has gotten a lot better this time around, where she feels like she can be more of a credible threat to whomever the champion is, whether it's Charlotte or Becky or Bianca, whoever it is. I'm just throwing names out there because she can easily go to Raw before you know it. There could be a draft, but whatever the case may be. Her elimination was kind of a surprise early. Raquel Rodriguez, I think, is just on that, like we've always kind of said, slow, trending, moving scale on up. Carmella is who she is. I'm surprised she's even in this match at this point.
I thought Carmella had a pretty good showing. I'll also say this. Carmella has a pretty good super kick.
Can't disagree with that. I'll give you credit for that. Who did Natty tap out? Natty tapped out and Liv. That's what I was just like, ooh, damn. Okay. I expected Natty to be one of the first to go out. She lasted a little bit longer. Ultimately, it just felt like this was just Asuka's crowning achievement, which we got. This is the match that, if you look at it with these 6 women involved, if you're going to put a WrestleMania match against Bianca Belair, Asuka feels like the most likely person to have a really good match with. So, like I said, no problem with the finish. It's just, meh.
Zach.
I don't have any strong feelings about this match except for the fact that Asuka is back to being awesome, even though her kind of newer character, I know it's not a 100% new character, but her newer character in like WWE is a little wackier, right? I love that, like, she is again being presented as like this absolute badass, and she's just so fun to watch, man. Like, she might be my favorite women's wrestler of all time. She's just so fun to watch. I think she's great.
Go ahead, Jason.
Let's move along. Lashley versus Lesnar is up next. Obviously, this is a match that we've all kind of talked about, where how was this going to play out? Is this where the Hurt Business was going to come into play and finally reunite and beat down Lashley, or not beat down Lashley, but beat down Brock Lesnar to set up the eventual, I guess, tiebreaker, rubber match, whatever you want to call it, for their feud? And unfortunately, that was not the case. Low blow from Brock Lesnar gives Bobby Lashley the DQ win. I'm over it. I hate the way that Triple H is booking Bobby Lashley. It's Big Show-esque, if you will. 1 week he's the face, next week he's the heel. I'm not a huge Bobby Lashley fan, but I like him. Just trying to keep up with what he is to week is a problem. Okay? I get Brock Lesnar outshines most people, and he outshines Bobby Lashley in this scenario. But, I mean, damn, if he's going to be the heel, then just let him heel it up. Just the week before, on Monday, he came out straight heel. And then on fucking Saturday, he's pandering to the crowd. Pick a fucking side, man. That's all I ask. If you want me invested in this shit, then just do this shit one way or the other. I don't even care that Bobby Lashley won. Okay? The low blow, don't get me wrong, pissed me off. Immediately, I was like, you punk motherfucker. That's how we gonna do this shit? Okay, great. So Bobby Lashley can't get a clean win on Brock Lesnar for shit.
Apparently, in the arena, Bobby Lashley got one of the biggest babyface pops. Bobby Lashley telling Brock Lesnar that he'll have his lawyers look it over. That's a heel move. Bobby Lashley, I'll tell you what, if you wear a suit like that and you come out to the ring, you're a heel. At the same time, Brock Lesnar goes low blow. That's a heel shit, too. Like, what the fuck? I agree. What the fuck is going on?
Crowd went nuts. They booed it first, and then all of a sudden, when he's throwing motherfuckers around, it's like, oh, yay, it's Brock. Yay! Brock F5s everybody.
They could have had...
Fuck out of here.
They could have had Eugene versus Tensai in front of that crowd. They would have gone fucking nuts. That would have been... It does not matter.
I'm just sick of those.
The crowd was hot.
The crowd was hot. Don't get me wrong. The inconsistency of this feud infuriates me. Just fucking let Lashley be the heel and be done with it.
Zach, what do you think about this match?
Oh man, just nothing match, like bullshit finish, and it was more like a Raw match. And this is gonna be like a hot take. Like I feel like Vince did a better job with both Lashley and Brock. Brock's gonna face Omos at WrestleMania.
We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that.
Oh,
that's what it looks like.
We don't know that. No. Hell no. You gonna sit up here and tell me we gonna drag Omos out to get thrown around by Brock Lesnar? Yeah. Fuck no.
It's gonna last 3 minutes.
Nah, man.
Brock Lesnar's gonna squash him.
Nah, man.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Nah.
Because they said to Brock Lesnar, I guarantee. Hey, listen, I'm a journalist.
I forget. You have your sources. I apologize.
I have my sources, and sources tell me that. Listen, these are credible sources. Sources tell me that they went to Brock Lesnar and they said, "Hey, we're gonna have you versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania." And Brock Lesnar looked at them and he goes, "No, you're not." He's like, I'm not doing any of that spooky shit. It's the same thing that happened when it was Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania, and Dean Ambrose wanted to have a hardcore match with a bunch of weapons, and Brock Lesnar goes, nope, not doing it. I mean, and that was a 5-minute...
He was not having any of that.
That was a 5-minute match, and that was a 5-minute match that Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, said on Jericho's podcast. Brock just didn't want to do anything. He's like, my hands were tied. He's like, I had this idea. I had all these ideas to go with Brock Lesnar. I thought it could have been a fun match. Brock Lesnar said, nope. It was a 5-minute match. It was done. So they went to Brock Lesnar. This is what my sources say. That they went to Brock Lesnar, and they said, we're going to have you fight Bray Wyatt. And he said, no way. Not doing that spooky shit. And they go, okay, how about we let you squash Omos in 3 minutes? And Brock Lesnar said, okay. Brock Lesnar just wants to be rich.
You have to give me an extra $1 million.
Right.
Man, fuck that. You kiss my ass. See, this is why I would not last a goddamn minute.
He just ain't going to do that spooky shit. And you know what?
So Bobby Lashley has to? So Bobby Lashley's not that character guy. Another reason why I wanted Brock to win. If there's somebody that has to face Bray Wyatt and can survive it, Brock can. Can Bobby Lashley? I don't think so.
If any horror movie I've ever seen tells me anything, then
there you go.
Yeah, Brock would have a better chance.
There you go. Yeah, black man dies pretty much off the jump. Okay? There ain't no reason to be putting Bobby Lashley into that fucking harm's way. Damn, we just got it back to being, dare I say respectable HOF? Come on now. Let's not fucking around.
They are going to do it again. They are going to trot Bray Wyatt out there because he's got all these big ideas, and he is going to have another shit WrestleMania match. He already had 2 shit WrestleMania matches against Randy Orton. He had 1 shit. Yeah, he had the maggots, and then he had the Performance Center WrestleMania that lasted like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he lost, and it was the curtain jerker, and it was terrible. And then he had that Undertaker match at WrestleMania that nobody remembers. Nobody remembers. I barely remember it. I remember where I was for it, and I remember everybody sitting around being like, "This sucks."
Was we at Joey's?
We were at John Jones's.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay.
Because I believe it was the same WrestleMania that Seth Rollins cashed in. Pretty sure. But I watched a couple WrestleManias over there. Anyway, this match sucked. This match could have been great. I'm a huge fan of Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar is motivated. I am diametrically opposed to Brock Lesnar matches when he doesn't give a fuck. It is just boring as shit, and you can tell he doesn't care, and you can tell he's in it for the paycheck. I would rather think of all the guys that you'd rather see Brock Lesnar versus at WrestleMania. I would rather see him against Johnny Gargano.
That's why I'm not saying. That's why I don't think it's Omos.
I'd rather see him against Chad Gable. I'd rather see him
throw Chad in the 18th row.
I'd rather see him against Otis, because at least Otis is a real grappler who was a badass college wrestler and shit. I'd rather see him against Shelton Benjamin.
LA Knight. Anybody.
Has anybody seen LA Knight since he's lost? Is he dead?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's the shit I'm talking about right there.
I saw him the other day on my phone when my ring went off and my Amazon package got dropped off. Yeah. Yeah.
Hell no.
I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm talking about, though.
I would love to see LA Knight against Brock Lesnar. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. No need to put Bobby Lashley into that.
Is this your new catchphrase?
No, it's already been
It's
taken.
LA Knight's catchphrase.
I'd say LA Knight will be coming for Bill. I'll let LA Knight take Bill's ass.
Ask me if I'll stop doing that.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Are you going to stop doing it?
Yeah.
Next up, you had the Grit Couple versus Judgment Day in a mixed tag. Beth and Edge versus Rhea and Finn Balor. Grit Couple goes over. Not necessarily the worst match, not the best match, somewhere in between. I thought the women carried this match a little bit. The men took over on the back end. Dom being the chicken shit heel. I just love Dom. I'm sorry. I think he's just absolutely amazing as the catalyst of just stirring shit up and then to be the first one running when shit starts going left. I think Dom's just absolutely amazing in this scenario. I guess the biggest spot where Beth came in a little late to break up the pin. I don't give a fuck about that. That shit just happens, man. You know, especially with Beth Phoenix not being around in active competition for a while. I'm willing to let that one pass. Ultimately, this kind of leads towards, and especially after Monday night, I think we're going to ultimately get Finn versus Edge in some sort of end-game match, whether it's Hell in a Cell like the rumor is, or something that is the ultimate blow-off match. That's what this sets up. For me, and people are like, Rhea shouldn't be losing on the way to the Royal Rumble. Rhea didn't lose. Rhea was on the losing team.
That's right.
Finn got pinned. Okay, let's just keep things, all in perspective. Kind of like what I was saying beforehand about Sami, Cody, and Roman. For me, it's still a perspective game. It's Cody and Roman. I don't see them, clearly they're not going to go away from it at that point. If they were going to do it the night of the Elimination Chamber, and they didn't. Rhea has no problems, no momentum problems moving forward, going towards Charlotte. If she ate the pin, then I would see that being a problem. Finn eats pins all the time, enough to where it's not that big a deal. And I think that's more so him pin. Yeah, let's try this again. Finn eating the pin sets up what he does to Edge on Monday night, and then ultimately a WrestleMania match. Zach, the floor is yours.
I think this was funny because, I like the match. Beth Phoenix, a little rusty. But it was funny because you guys both picked the Judgment Day, and you're like, and then Zach picked the faces, and just don't know his reasoning here. And then the faces won, so in your faces. But,
oh, fuck you.
That's fair. I will say this: the point total, Jason and I tied with 11 points. Zach won with 12 points on that face.
Great. There you go. Now we got to hear this shit for another 5 minutes.
Nah, no, I'm just saying. It just seemed like it's kind of the most worthwhile thing for the story. Just because it's Montreal is one of my reasonings, and I didn't know that Edge hadn't wrestled there in forever, but it makes sense, right? Because he hadn't wrestled for a long time in general, and he's always kind of, even since he's been back, he takes off a lot. But
didn't even cross.
Anyway,
my
the
mind.
match is
the
match is fine.
Yep.
I do love the Dom and Rhea stuff. It was funny. We're watching this with my kids and my wife, and she's like, "Oh, who's this person?" And she said that Edge looks like McNulty from The Wire, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he kind of does. He's got the bags under his eyes." But
except McNulty was 30,
right?
yeah. And I was talking about Rhea Ripley. I'm like, oh, that's Rhea Ripley. I was like, she's one of my favorites. And she's like, oh yeah, I never could have guessed. And I'm like, yeah.
Probably should have put that one of my favorites out there. That's Rhea Ripley.
Did you explain to your kids? Did you explain to your kids that Dom is a sub?
I explained it to my wife, and I made that joke. And it was over their heads. I made sure that it was not into context immediately after we discussed the hotness of Rhea Ripley. But I did mention that to her.
Way to separate that. That's good. That's good. I
listened to a really good interview the other day with Dominic Mysterio. Very, very interesting. And he talked a lot about Eddie Guerrero. Dominic Mysterio seems like a cool motherfucker in real life. So I'm really happy for him. And yeah, he was great. This match, to me, this is kind of the shower match. I didn't really.
Damn.
I just wasn't that. I wasn't.
Damn.
I just wasn't that into it. I wasn't that into. I'm not that into mixed tag rules. Now, listen, if they would have had Rhea pin Edge or something, then to me that's newsworthy. But I mean, I don't have strong feelings about it. I didn't get to talk about the women's chamber match because my wife was talking to me, but I will say that it is nice to have Asuka back with a fresh coat of paint, and I am very much looking forward to Asuka versus.
Literally.
I am very much looking forward to Asuka versus Bianca Belair because that has an opportunity to steal a show.
Full show. Last match we haven't talked about yet, obviously, is the men's Elimination Chamber match for the U.S. title.
Banger!
Austin Theory retains. And I didn't know that. I kind of thought that Logan Paul would get involved, but the way they did it, I thought was really good because they gave Montez Ford the babyface sympathy rub that he probably should have gotten, even though I was 99% sure he wasn't hurt. But I was like, you know what? That's cool. Montez Ford getting his flowers right now is cool. He was one of the guys that I was looking forward to in this Elimination Chamber because, he's just athletic. You never know what he was going to ultimately do. The spot where he fell on top of the whole crowd, I knew it was going to happen just the way that it did happen. I was appreciative of that. That was a nice last little spot. I never didn't cross my mind about opening the door to where now Logan Paul could get in and do the damage being done.
I haven't done a deep dive. Sorry, you were getting ready to say
No, I was just going to say that if Logan Paul and Seth Rollins is going to be the WrestleMania match that it probably looks like it's going to be, obviously not announced yet, this was the way to do it. Logan Paul is not a babyface. I don't care who you put him against to make him feel like a babyface. He's just not. Fans don't want to cheer him. They want to boo him.
You talk about a match that could steal the show.
This could be a match that could steal the show.
Yeah, I haven't done a deep dive on all the Elimination Chambers. This, in my recollection, I will remember this Elimination Chamber. I've watched it twice. I watched most of it tonight before Jason got here. I had to go after Logan Paul interfered. There wasn't much after that. But I was thinking today, as I was driving home from work, I was like, why was that Elimination Chamber match so much better than other ones? And I think that I pinpointed it in my mind. I think it's because it was for the U.S. title and not for a chance to challenge or for the big title. A, that made it less predictable. B, it was full of mid-carders that felt like they needed something to prove. And C, it was full of mid-carders that are not necessarily heavyweights, so they can probably do a lot more. This was a spot fest, and it was a really good spot fest. It also started off with a match that I didn't know I needed in my life, but then I thought about it, and after it started, Gargano versus Seth Rollins. Hell yeah. Give it to me all day, every day. They made Bronson Reed look like $1 million that took 4 guys to take him out, 4 huge moves to take out Bronson Reed, and they sold the fuck out of it on commentary. Michael Cole and Corey Graves both. Montez Ford got over without winning. Montez Ford was the star of the show. That spot hanging off the Elimination Chamber, that hanging off the top, was badass. I don't know if it was my favorite spot. My favorite spot was probably the Hurricane Rana off the top of the chamber when Rollins was getting ready to powerbomb Gargano. Gargano flipped it around. Beautiful stuff. Really fun spot fest. It was an attraction. It was an event, and I loved every minute of it. So A plus for that match for me. And the way that Austin Theory won, it was smartly booked. Montez Ford sold the fuck out of that. Apparently he worked Bianca. Apparently Bianca was in the back, like, worried about it. Like, she thought that he was hurt. Very fun match. I'm cool with the ending. I'm cool with Austin Theory going over. I'm not sure if Austin Theory versus John Cena is going to be for the U.S. title, but whatever.
Doesn't need to be.
It shouldn't be.
If it is, then Austin Theory goes over. Even better.
But it was a spectacular Elimination Chamber match. One of the best I've ever seen, if not the best I've ever seen. Zach, what do you think about it?
Yeah, agreed. As far as recency bias, I do have a hard time kind of harkening back to some of those.
Bray winning is the one that really sticks out to my mind. I can't, like I said, I won't speak for everybody else.
The one that I was at that in St. Louis in 2011 when John Cena won because Shawn Michaels popped out from underneath the Elimination Chamber, super kicked Undertaker, and then John Cena won. That was pretty cool, but I was there for it, so I don't know if that counts.
That counts, as far as I'm concerned. But go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But yeah, as far as like a match goes, really fun, and I will second the Gargano versus Rollins. Arguably, Logan Paul versus Rollins makes more sense as a WrestleMania match. So, really happy about that one. Also, I think that's going to be phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. One thing I was surprised at how many crotch chops Montez Ford did. I
agree with that. And then he kind of went for a pupil's elbow too.
Yeah. Apparently he likes The Rock, and I'm not mad at him. Don't get me wrong. I did. He was getting ready to set up the people's elbow. He did the rock bottom. Things that obviously stand out as a Rock fan.
Oh, he likes The Rock. That's weird.
Yeah, right. But I thought that Montez Ford really stood out. For all the right reasons in this scenario.
For all the reasons that we've been saying for forever, though. I mean, he's a fucking,
and that's why I was like, yeah, that's why, for me, he was, at least my vote for the most underrated of 2022. You saw glimpses, you saw this, you saw that.
I picked him to win, and then it was clear, like, he was getting all his shit, and I was like, I think he's peaking a little too early. I don't think he's going to win.
No,
anyway.
I think that's what for Montez Ford, this was his ceiling.
I think
for this match.
For sure.
Okay.
The ceiling that he hung off of and dropped.
That was his ceiling. He went out in a blaze of
professional
glory.
broadcasting, guys.
They carried him out.
That's not the
Absolute fucking bullshit.
you guys are usually used to.
And I like the fact that Montez Ford was highlighted. Bronson Reed, as much as I was disappointed, him going out early, the way he went out, I was like, okay, you know what? That's cool. It took the whole fucking crew to get your ass
a
out
curb
here.
stomp into a frog splash was the final two that did it for
Okay,
him.
fair enough. Okay, it's 5 finishers.
Yeah.
You bet not be kicking out of this.
I think we hijacked Zach's take, though. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I didn't have a take. This is a good match. I will say the Doomsday device into a Poison Rana was awesome as it was scary.
Yes, I definitely cringed. That was one of them few times where I was like, is everybody okay? All right, we're good. We're good. Fantastic. Now, this was, I thought, was the match of the night. Sami and Roman aside. This was an ultimate spot fest.
Sami and Roman is like in a different. It's just
different. I think that's going to ultimately be the match of the year for WWE. I just thought for this particular night, this match hit all the right chords. Even when Logan Paul came in, it made sense.
It did.
How he got in made sense.
Yep.
What he did make sense.
The
curb stomp was like I was like, oh, you motherfucker. Now you fucked up. And now we got a WrestleMania match to where now you have the right guys in their right spots. Seth is so over with the fans. It's impossible for him to be in a heel mode at this point. People want to boo Logan Paul, so let him do it.
I'm going to stick with it this year. I have running notes for the Beefers next year, so I don't forget about stuff. I put this down as a contender for this. This will be in the conversation at the end of the year. It might not win, but it's in the conversation. It's going to be thought about as, if not the pay-per-view of the year, the WWE pay-per-view of the year. We don't know where stuff's going to go, but this was an incredible event.
Better than I thought it would be.
Do you want to give it a grade?
Yeah, I'll give it a grade. I'll go B+.
Zach?
It cracked me up. I was going to give it a B+ too now because I don't agree. Cause I just feel like there was something recently Jason gave us a bias to. It was like an A pay-per-view. I was waiting for him to say I'll give it a grade. I'll give it a C.
It was a Royal Rumble.
It was a Royal Rumble, yeah.
It was a Royal Rumble.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'll give it a D.
Thanks for coming out, WWE.
I give it an A. I don't think the WWE pay-per-views get much better than this. I thought it was fun. I had a fun crew with me, too. I had Tinder Mahal and Vice and my buddy Ben. It was a fun crew. Fuck, I still owe Joey $20. I forgot. I keep forgetting to Venmo him.
Yeah. Hey, guess what?
Hey, Joey, it's coming.
You get that motherfucking Venmo request tomorrow morning. I promise you that, bro. 10 o'clock.
Hey, Joey,
you getting that.
my Venmo's down. I don't know what's going on with it.
You ain't getting $20. You ain't getting $20.
Let's get to that 2 count.
He said, oh, shit, I forgot to give Joey $20. Man, you better give that man his money. He got a promotion to run.
Yeah, I know. He deserves that money. It's gonna go right in Josh Alexander's pocket.
It's something.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm fine. I'll just give me Josh Alexander's Venmo.
We'll just bypass you. Josh, may I have your Venmo, please?
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
If I know anything about wrestlers, they will absolutely give you their Venmo.
Quickly.
So yeah, you know what? This is going to be kind of surprising, but I didn't watch AEW because I found, in my limited time that I had this week, I found a couple other things to be more must-see TV, and I feel like if I'm thinking this, then I can't be the only one.
Wow.
But I mean, I had to watch Raw before I watched AEW, so I did that today because I hadn't watched it. And I watched Raw, and then I watched not the Battle in the Valley, even though I probably should have because that's what you guys watched. But I watched the Noah show. I don't know if Jason watched this.
Yeah.
Or not. I know Bill didn't. But so at least you can speak to it. But I'll just I only watched the last 2 matches, but it was like a 5-hour show, but absolutely phenomenal. It was the last 2 matches were the GHC heavyweight champion Kaito Kiyomiya versus Okada, and everything a Japanese heavyweight main event should be, like hard hitting. I mean, this is like match of the year, like Japanese level wrestling shit, just like Shingo and Okada was, that I didn't get to talk about last week, which was also phenomenal. But dude, this was great, and I won't kind of go into detail and belabor it because we just spent a very, very long time talking about Elimination Chamber. Go ahead.
Can I say this? Like,
I've been holding my laugh for like 5 minutes.
As a guy who's on a wrestling podcast with you and who has your phone number, and I think you have mine. Like, if you're gonna talk about something on the podcast, I was sitting there today at work, kind of just dicking around. I didn't have a whole lot to do today, and I was like, man, I got all my wrestling watch for the week. Like, I watched everything. I watched AEW Live. I was like, nothing else I need to watch.
I'm feeling good about the podcast tonight.
I'm feeling good about the podcast. So next time, just shoot your boy a text and say, hey, man, if you get a chance, watch these matches so you can talk intelligently about it.
You need Jason's passcode for Wrestling Universe.
I should have. I just didn't even really think I was going to talk about it. But then I thought I was going to get to AEW, and we were just going to talk about that, and this wouldn't even come up. But I just wanted to, and this is also better than I thought it was going to be. So I just wanted to say to go watch it. We don't have to belabor it or like go into it. I just wanted to give it a plug.
We'll be talking about that on the Phoenix Splash podcast on the next episode.
Hey, yeah, have Zach as a guest.
What you doing on Sunday? No, I'm joking. I don't even know next time we're going to record. Do you want me to do AEW? You want to do AEW?
No, I want Zach. Zach can do Raw. Like, quick. I mean, there's stuff to talk about with Raw. Okay. So, yeah.
And also, Keiji Muto's final match against Naito. Keiji Muto can barely walk, and Naito got a 30-minute match out of this dude, and it was awesome. Like, some of the best storytelling you'll ever see in a match. You guys just gotta watch it. It was absolutely phenomenal. So anyway, I will talk about Raw because Sami Zayn opens the show to huge ovation, naturally, because he's Sami fucking Zayn. And he comes out and he talks about being disappointed because everybody's telling him to finish the story, and he was unable to finish the story. And he's so good and so believable, with the guilt stuff. He's just like, I feel guilty that I couldn't get it done. And like, it's fake, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, we all know.
Man, let that man live, dog. He feel guilty.
Yeah. But it's just, he just spun it so well. And, calls out Kevin Owens. And, I will agree with your guys' sentiments earlier and just say that Kevin Owens, I'm glad that they didn't hug at the end of Montreal, even though it would have been a big pop and it would have sent the fans home happy after a deflating loss. I'm glad that they're complicating things because it does make more sense. It is more realistic. And you have 6 weeks-ish to WrestleMania. You only need, you could do 3 of this complicated storyline and then 3 more of the build to the actual match. But, it just reaffirmed the fact that I know it's over, but at least that kind of like that road to like Sami winning over Roman Reigns, you can have him beat him for the non-title afterwards or whatever, but it just reaffirmed that Sami is the star of the show because he's closing SmackDown, he's opening Raw. I don't know, it was, like I said, it was must-see TV for me, and I'm a huge AEW fan, huge New Japan fan. This was must-see TV for me, and I had to watch.
I echo those sentiments. I thought that it was really smart that KO came out. Like I said before, I thought that KO's explanation was really fucking smart, saying, hey, man, I went out there for me. I told you I've been pissed off at the Bloodline forever. I didn't go out there for you. I went out there for me. KO understands wrestling storytelling, and KO understands promos, and he understands his character, and he was not going to give anything away cheap, and I appreciate the fuck out of that.
No, that's real life shit, you know. And as much as I'm a petty motherfucker, and I'll be the first to admit it, you know, you cross me, that's probably the first and the last time you cross me. If you come back and be like, you know, hey, I'm sorry, you know, look, man, you're probably not getting the second chance.
I'm scared of you.
You can get a second chance. You mama nigga. I appreciate the Kevin Owens perspective of it. Look, man, I've been fighting the Bloodline since the inception. So now you're going to come around and try to bring me back in. You know, I'm ready to fight with you now, man. I'm going to need some more from you from that. Now, how, once again, we get from point A to point B, there's the question. There's going to be a couple beatdowns, a couple of saves, and then ultimately we'll get the hug out where they're just going to say, fuck it, we're going to go after the Usos. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't want them to hug it out at Elimination Chamber. That to me would have been the ultimate, the opposite of what happened at Clash of the Castle. And that's just the way I wanted it. The way they're doing it right now, I totally get it, and I understand it. Like I said, for me, I'm petty as fuck. So at that point, I'm with KO, man. You got to do a little more hoop jumping to get me back on board.
What do you want to talk about next, Zach?
Sami Zayn beat Corbin, decidedly less, strong than Cody did last week. Just kind of want to point that out as a comparison. Just kind of how they booked Corbin versus Sami and how they booked Corbin versus Cody. But yeah, I mean, that was bad. We don't need to talk about it.
I think they just wanted to give Sami a win in Canada.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah. Totally, but it was just funny how he didn't run over him, even though Sami's the top guy. He didn't run over him like the top guy. He's a plucky underdog, and that's how they see him. That's how they did it. Cody came out pissed and throwing him around and beat him in his street clothes in a couple minutes. Anyway, just different ways that they approached it. It's fine both ways. I just wanted to point it out, but it was noticeable.
Well, Cody didn't come off of a big time WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania match, but a world title match at Elimination Chamber. You know, I wouldn't expect Sami to come out and just stomp Baron Corbin. As much as I hate Baron Corbin, I would be, a little remiss if all of a sudden after a 30-minute banger, Sami Zayn just says, you know what, fuck Baron Corbin, I'm going to come out and just drag his ass out.
Yeah, he did get beat the shit with a chair.
Yeah. Yes. So in this scenario, I'm like, okay.
I mean, you say you hate Baron Corbin, but you see his appeal, right? Or no, let me rephrase that. You see his value, right?
He's a good wrestler, without question.
And he's a good guy that you can put out there and have Sami Zayn beat his ass. And
Cody the same way.
And it means something more than beating up.
I think my problem with Baron Corbin is how fans perceive Baron Corbin, where they think he's in this upper echelon of top heels, where you wouldn't see Seth Rollins getting drugged like that when he was on his heel run. You wouldn't see Brock Lesnar getting drugged like that when he was on.
Nobody sees him like that.
There are people that see him like that, okay? And that's my problem.
You got to stay off Twitter.
How are we going to promote the podcast if I stay off Twitter?
Good point.
Rhea and Dom, Rhea looking good. Dom, such a funny nerd. He's Rhea's getting them talking, being all badass. And Dom's like, oh yeah, he's like, I think my dad's got a match. He's like, I should root, be there to root for him, all cheesy and shit.
Yeah, go root for him, Dom.
Hey,
wait.
In that interview, Dom said something strange, and Dom said in WWE kayfabe, Eddie is his dad. Is that still true?
No. I'm sure they've had a match for that where he won it. I mean,
he talked about that too. He talked about the custody papers for Dom ladder match.
Okay,
where the custody papers were at top. And
look, man, that's what I'm talking about. Dom just stirs the pot.
This interview, like he was talking shoot style, and he was talking about how he was 7 and like Eddie and Ray sat him down before, and they were like, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen, WWE's gonna pay you," and he was 7 years old. He's like, "I made so much money," in like he said, what Eddie didn't prepare him for was how intense Eddie was gonna be during the match, and he's like, "When you see me in the corner and Eddie is screaming at me, you're gonna learn what it's gonna be to be a Guerrero." He's like, "I was 7." He's like, "I thought he was really mad at me." He's like, every facial expression you see, he's like, "That's really me being scared."
Poor bastard. No wonder he's all fucked up right now.
It's an incredible interview. Incredible. I'm not gonna.
No wonder he went to prison at such a young age.
Oh, he does like the first 10 minutes of the interview in character, and it is fucking. It's so good. He really understands that character.
God bless him. See.
I'm not gonna tell you what where to find that interview because I'm not gonna promote another podcast, guys.
Yeah,
it's on Phoenix Splash.
What? We did a Dom video? We did a Dom interview?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck it. Let's do it.
What was that, Zach?
So not next, but I mean it's a 3-hour show.
Whatever you want to talk about.
Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman segment, glorious. Cody comes out and he's doing his typical catchphrase is, "So, what do you want to talk about?" And he gets cut off, burps right into the microphone. You had to like held the microphone into your mouth to do that. That's so funny. Can
we talk about is Cody's "So, what do you want to talk about"? Is that over enough for it already to be interrupted?
I don't know.
Because every time I see him do it, I'm like, I get that he's trying to get that over, but it doesn't work every time he cuts a promo.
In certain situations, it does.
Stop trying to get it over. It's not going to get over.
It's not the money clip trying to get over, but in certain situations, because he doesn't do it a lot, when Sami was getting ready to go for the title, he wanted, that's what you wanted to talk about. When he won the Royal Rumble, what do you want to talk about? So, yeah, I don't think it's... I'm not disagreeing with that. And even in AEW, he said it when I thought it was appropriate for him to say it. Everybody knew what we wanted you to talk about as Cody Rhodes. Okay, so let's just talk about it. Cody just drug it out a little bit. Okay, so what you guys want to talk about? Nigga, you know what we want to talk about. Just talk about it. I don't think it's enough. It's not over enough to where people interrupt it, but the person that interrupted is over enough that he can interrupt it, and that's Paul Heyman. And it continues their storyline where as long as Roman Reigns is not around, you got to have Paul Heyman around to continue that storyline. No problem with it. Like I said, for me, I've always thought this is going to be Cody and Roman. This just adds another chapter, another layer to that story. At some point, they're going to cross paths before WrestleMania, meet in the ring, and then that's, the big one that I want to see. From that point, it's just going to be builds. It's just going to be, slow builds every week to week until Roman and Cody get into the ring together. That's the week you want to see, and then ultimately we'll see them at April 2nd at WrestleMania.
I don't want to see him face to face, I don't think, until the week before WrestleMania.
That's fine too.
Or maybe not even until WrestleMania.
No, you got to have him at some point. You got to have him face off.
I mean, Heyman is the wise man. Heyman is the proxy. Let Heyman go out there and do all the shit talking. I'm completely fine with the build thus far. I think that it's very smart that they didn't even mention or bring Cody out in Montreal. And then they did it in Ottawa, and I think it's a really good sign that he wasn't immediately rejected. Now, I also think that those Canadian fans are good fans. I think that they were, for lack of a better word, placated by what happened earlier in the night and earlier in the weekend. I think that they got the Sami stuff out of their system. I don't think that anybody really thought that Sami was going to win that match.
I don't know. There's some motherfuckers out there. It was like Sami is going to win, and I get that.
I don't. It's just not the same that it was with Bautista when Daniel Bryan was on his way up there, and that's really the thing that I can compare it to the most. The Kofi thing is also close to it because that was such an organic. Listen, yeah, it was like. It's so weird that the WWE fiscal year is from the beginning of April to the beginning of April, and every single year around December, somebody, not every time, but somebody starts catching fire that isn't
you don't expect to.
That you don't expect to, and it's not every year certainly, but I think it's a good sign that Sami Zayn or that Cody Rhodes was not booed out of the building in Ottawa the other night, and
if you did that in Montreal, that would have been a different story. And I think that
they kept him away from that. And
I think they did that.
That was smart.
Purposely, and it was a smart move.
And that goes back to what we were saying, or to what I was saying at least about the Royal Rumble, where it's like they knew that putting Sami in that Royal Rumble, if he would have come in at 19 and then gotten eliminated in the Final Four,
all hell would have broke loose.
All hell would have broke loose. So you just keep him away from it completely. Having Cody and Sami have a couple in-ring interactions before Elimination Chamber, you're nipping it in the bud, right? You're acknowledging,
for lack of a better word.
Yeah, you're acknowledging that this is happening and that Cody versus Sami could happen. And they're just way smarter about it now. And I think that Cody, I'm not going to say it's going to go off without a hitch, Cody versus Roman Reigns.
No, there's going to be some hoop jumping involved. It's no way.
I think you just got to keep Cody off of TV a couple weeks here and there. Keep obviously they
no
keep
way.
Roman.
They're not Cody. Cody has to be on TV. Has to be.
Well, you can.
I'm
have
not saying
vignettes.
he wrestles.
You can have vignettes. You can have their the shit that they put together, their build up.
No, I get what you're saying on that, but I really think Cody needs to be on TV.
This time I'm gonna let it all hang out. This time I'm gonna scream out and shout.
No, there's
my way or the
I was about
highway.
to say, man, don't get me started on that vignette, man. That's one of my faves, man. Fuck that. I was high for fucking Stone Cold and Rock that year, man. That is one of my favorites.
See, I didn't even know that's what it was from.
No title, no nothing. Rock's just coming for his victory. I haven't beat Stone Cold. I just want to beat his ass one time.
What I did like was Heyman, and I don't know, I was taking a piss. Maybe I'm hijacking somebody's take here. But what I did like was that Heyman cut him off.
That would be Zach's take, by the way.
And then, okay, Zach, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
I like that Heyman cut him off. Didn't let Cody talk too much because Cody said a lot. There is going to be a backlash to that sentimental Dusty Rhodes stuff that he's doing if he does it too much. Now, listen, that's an effective story. There is so much goodwill built up for Dusty Rhodes, but if he starts to lean on it a little bit too much, it could become a problem in terms of the fans. Like, people don't want that much. So that's why I'm saying you can keep him off TV. That's why I think it was smart to have Heyman cut him off, and then Heyman basically go lowest road possible. I don't think that you can handle the road. I don't think that you can handle the commitments like Roman does. Being the champion of WWE means you have to do all these things. And he said I could go really low and say Roman's going to keep your wife warm at night. Roman's a happily married man, but I'm not. And I was like, that's really funny. And then I thought Cody's reaction to that was perfect because Cody's reaction was he started to get pissed off, and then you could see in his face, he was like, I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not going to let you do it. And he looked in the camera, and he told Roman, he goes, don't send this man again. That was badass. That line was badass. I don't care what you say. I don't care how much you hate Cody Rhodes or how much you might already be sick of the Dusty shit. That was a great line and a great delivery of that line, and I'm still into this match.
I think Cody did what I think most people would do. You get pissed immediately, but this is what they do.
He shook it off. Don't send that man again was perfect.
You know he's coming back.
I know, but it was
no. But once he said, I was like, "Come on, Cody. You know he's coming back, right?
It was
he's coming back."
Great line though.
And then it built. It's the tension that you need when Roman's not around. I'm not a huge fan of, I'm not a happy, Roman's a happily married man, but I'm not. Okay, that just seemed a little cheesy, but that's WWE. It is what it is, but it was effective. It made me was like, okay, you know what?
Well, what it really made me think of is, yeah, that makes sense. Well, who the fuck would want to be married to Paul Heyman?
Maybe like Tommy Dreamer, and that's it.
Stop. Let that man live, dog. He just tried to get another paycheck from Impact.
What else? What else we got?
Maybe just one more thing that I want to talk about with Raw, but I do have this on in the background. I have this Noah thing on in the background, rewatching it, and I want to say that Phil was talking about a heel Okada last week, and if you want a taste of that, this is more extra incentive to watch this, and also that the production value of this Noah show is better than, dude, it's better than anything I've seen in WWE. Like,
the Okada fucking entrance was like, damn. New Japan should be taking some notes.
That's really interesting.
New Japan, everybody should take notes. Everybody. It's amazing. Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's really interesting to me. Maybe instead of watching Noah again, you watch something that we're going to talk about in this fucking podcast.
Well, Dad's mad.
Well, what am I gonna watch a
roll the fuck up?
No, that's fine.
Way to go,
anyway.
Zach. You pissed off Dad.
I don't like how you call me Dad. Like when you're trying to talk about me being a jerk, trying to keep this thing. I'm gesturing over here because this is where Bo usually is. I don't like how you call me Dad when you think I'm being a jerk because I'm trying to keep the fucking podcast
I don't think you're
online.
being a jerk. I'd fuck it with you.
You think I'm actually mad at Zach?
Not at all.
Pretty fucking mad at him.
So I want to talk about Ding Dong Hello for the next 11 minutes. No, not really, but I do want to mention it because I love the graphics. I love Bayley, and it does set up a match for WrestleMania. And I think they did a good job with it, where you're gonna have a tag team title match, women's, and you had Lita come out. And even though Becky and Lita were wrestling the last time we saw them together, they did at least acknowledge the fact that we've kind of resolved our differences, and we're two of the greatest, and we want to wrestle for those tag titles. Which I don't know if Lita's down for a couple appearances. Them holding those tag titles is not a bad idea. So anyway, that was kind of the most noteworthy thing, other than Edge losing to Austin Theory, which is a big win for Austin Theory in his career, and he's getting ready to wrestle John Cena. So pretty wild stuff. But that was Raw.
I'll say this. I think that Bayley has been doing great work recently. I think that her heel persona with the Ding Dong Hello thing has finally started making sense. She is clowning.
Finally?
She's clowning. She reminds me of peak. This is high praise from me. She reminds me of peak Kurt Angle.
I knew you were going to say Kurt Angle.
Well, when they came down, they were talking shit, and she was like, "Use the door." I was like, that's fucking funny.
She's done that before, though.
I don't care. It's fucking funny. I still think that this is heading towards a 3-on-3 match at WrestleMania, including Trish Stratus with Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. I'll say this. Becky Lynch is kind of cold, right?
Yeah. Much colder than she was. They try to present her like she's what she was, and I'm not saying she's not the wrestler she was, but she is absolutely not the star that she was. There was a time when she was the biggest star in wrestling, and I don't mean women's star. She was the biggest star in wrestling at one point.
Well,
And
she kind of had that Dana Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Sami Zayn thing. Like when we were leading
Nia
up
Jax
to that,
busting her nose, and the next thing you know, she was on her way to stardom.
when we were leading up to that one WrestleMania where her, Ronda, and Charlotte headlined it, she was as hot as any. Maybe not as hot as Sami Zayn in Montreal, but nah, she wasn't. I think.
I don't know.
I think Sami Zayn in Montreal is the new bar. Like
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody that over.
Becky Lynch was fucking over.
Yeah, but not like Sami Zayn in Montreal. Not like this guy is so over that the entire crowd is going to be
Let's put this. Can we put a little asterisk on that and say that was a home field advantage for sure? Becky Lynch was doing this. Not even in Ireland. Anywhere in the United States, she was way the fuck over.
Barring any injuries, knock on wood, you wait Sami Zayn till SummerSlam. Sami Zayn is going to be the most over dude in WWE for the next 6 to 8 months. No question. It's not even going to – I'm telling you, he's going to ride this all the way to SummerSlam. You think WrestleMania is going to be the end of the Sami Zayn story? He's going to keep fucking going. He's going to fight Cody Rhodes at a pay-per-view for the belt.
I agree with that.
And Cody Rhodes might start leaning into that thing that he does where he's so babyface he's heel, like he's what's-his-face off of The Boys. What's his name? Homelander.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing that.
Homelander's a straight-up heel.
I know, but Homelander thinks
that's a bad analogy.
No, but Homelander thinks he's a face, though.
He does think he's a face. He does.
That's what Cody Rhodes started doing in AEW, but he didn't realize he was a heel. Cody didn't realize he was a heel. That was the death knell.
Different story for a different time.
You're
okay,
right.
fair enough.
Anyway, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I will say you mentioned like the bar, right?
For hot crowds,
for hot crowds. Jumbo Tsuruta, Masahiro Misawa. Whenever Misawa won for the first time, because Misawa was the first Tiger Mask. Misawa was the first Tiger Mask, and he wasn't quite a huge star yet, and it was like a passing of the torch. Like, watch that match. I probably watched that match like 15 times. It's one of my favorite wrestling matches. Anyway, that crowd, the story behind that, like Giant Baba called an audible, like everybody in
get your boy.
The stadium, which is constantly talking. It was like Misawa, and he's like, "All right." He went into Jumbo Tsuruta and said, "You're losing tonight."
You know what, Zach? We text sometimes, even without Jason, even without Murray Man, even without Tender Mahal, and I'll text you things that I like, or I'll tell you books that I like to read, like Patrick Radden Keefe, and you're reading Say Nothing. Did you finish Say Nothing?
I did. I actually read the last half of it in one sitting. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, the end of the Gene McConville story is pretty fucked up, right?
It's phenomenally fucked up. I loved it.
Yes. And then, you text me the other day. You're like, I don't know why I don't listen to Clutch all the time. And I'm like, yeah, dude, they're my dudes. I've been listening to them since 1994. Since 1994, I've been listening to those guys. And then, me and you saw John Wick 3 together. I've been rewatching the John Wicks, and I've been thinking about you a whole lot. And then,
are you upset I didn't introduce you to Masahiro Misawa?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, why don't you just text me and be like, "Hey, watch this." Like, I provide you so much content.
Oh shit! Here we go with this content thing again.
You know how much content I send Zach? That's just for me and Zach. It's just like
I know. There's certain things I would
It's a
never
personal
understand.
relationship between us two.
I get it.
You know?
I get it.
All right, I'm searching for the match, and I'm gonna send it to you.
Hey,
right
you know
now.
what? Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? Don't bother.
Cold-blooded is his name.
All right, so finish up Raw. I'm going to take a piss. Now I'm going to talk about New Japan.
We ain't going to talk about AEW?
That's going to be the odds and ends.
Okay, fair enough.
First time
Okay, Jesus Christ. See what you did, Zach?
It's on the decline.
See what you did? See what you did? Okay? You made a man. We're going to talk about New Japan and then put AEW in the odds and ends. Are you happy now? Are you happy?
Honestly, I feel like that's warranted.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Granted, I didn't watch it this week. But I didn't hear that it was any kind of like banger show or anything either. So, yeah.
Who are you, dude? You go to the strip club a couple times.
I'm an objective journalist. No,
You're an objective journalist. That's good. I'm glad I'm the only non-journalist around here. True fan around here. Objective journalist over there in Portland, and the real journalist, the blue check mark journalist. If he was on Twitter anymore, he would be getting the blue check mark for having this journalistic credentials running around here.
Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, the reason that AEW is not going to be in one of the 3 counts, it's going to be our odds and ends, and I'm going to pop around. We're not going to go through the whole show. It's because something kind of big happened at the Battle in the Valley, NJPW. No. Sasha Banks.
I'm joking, man. I'm being facetious. Jesus
Mercedes
Christ.
Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, is the new NJPW Women's Champion. And that is a big deal because at the Beefers this year, when we talked about the 4 biggest news stories, we didn't even mention Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out and vacating their tag belts. I don't think. Did we?
No.
That's pretty fucked up because that was a huge deal when it happened. It still seems pretty weird. Sasha Banks has headlined WrestleMania nights for WWE. She walked out on WWE, and she's now, before WrestleMania of the same year, same fiscal WWE year,
Correct.
she is the second NJPW Women's Champion. Jason, I'm assuming that you watched this entire
Yes, I did. You know I did.
First of all, I'll go first. First of all, 'cause I don't think Zach watched it. First of all, this Mercedes Moné, or however they say it, they say money and Monet, but
you said it right.
Monet, no, they say it weird. It's like they're being coached to say it weird. Her versus Kyrie lasted almost 30 minutes. Incredible. An incredible in-ring match.
This is the match I wanted to see, her being Kyrie and Tam.
I also put this down for my women's match of the year on my running list of 2023 Beefers. This was it really, like, it was kind of there were parts of it that were sloppy, but they were trying so much shit and they were doing so much shit. It was really incredible. I had a great time. I knew that Mercedes was going to win. I didn't see any spoilers, but I knew that Mercedes was going to win. It wouldn't have made any sense for her to lose here. Kyrie puts the belt on her afterwards. You can tell that Kyrie loves Mercedes.
Excuse me.
You can tell they have tons of respect for each other.
For sure.
And it was a very cool moment. One of the coolest moments of the week, full of cool moments.
For last week, yeah, for sure.
It was no Moxley versus Evil Uno, but it was...
Yeah, it surpassed that and then some. I wasn't sure. I didn't see a spoiler, so when I saw it, I was, genuinely in the moment, which was, I was good with it. Kyrie just doesn't feel like she's going to be somebody that is going to be a long-term champion. Not saying, Mercedes Moné is going to be a long-term champion, but I think Mercedes has a more of an international appeal, especially on the U.S. side, where she's got fans, and her fans came out, sold out the San Jose Arena, big turnout for her appearance.
Another fun crowd.
Big turnout for the WrestleMania Kingdom, the Wrestle Kingdom show. There was a lot of pay-per-view buys for that. So that's something to be said about it. So as much as people might not like Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks, there's something to be said with the numbers behind it.
Who doesn't like her?
there's plenty of people that don't like her. I mean, and that's neither here nor there. I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck.
Zach, did you watch this match?
No, although I did just turn the show on because it made me feel guilty. But I wanted to watch it with sound. So that's
say I'm actually watching. See, this is Mercedes Moné coming out right now.
Zach, too little, too late.
Honestly, I thought this was probably the right move because now you're setting up.
Of course, it's the right.
Well, you're setting up matches with women in Stardom. You know, dream matches. She already called out Azumi, so that might be something that might happen.
New Japan has somebody that headlined a WrestleMania a year and a half ago, and they're like, hey, she wants to come into our little promotion where she's going to fight in front of 400 marks at some fucking place in Reseda, California, and she's going to do it, and we're going to make her lose to Kyrie? Fuck no, man. She is a star. They have something very hot on their hands. That I'm telling you, like we said after Wrestle Kingdom, new NJPW, it's coming out hot, man.
I'm not.
No, they're gonna get new fans with this. Like Battle of the Valley. There's a bunch of people that bought that Battle of the Valley show. Like I've been subscribed to New Japan World for I don't know what, like over like 5 years, 6 years. Every month I've been giving my yen. I did not buy this show, right? Even though it looked like a great show, but I'm just like, I pay my yen. I'm just going to wait until but there's people that don't subscribe to New Japan that bought this show, and they're going to be like, this New Japan shit rules. And just like they did whenever Jericho fought Omega, however many years ago, and they stayed on because the shit rules, and they're going to recognize that. And then she's going to do the same thing for Stardom. Also, she's going to get a ton of eyes on Stardom. It's going to be cool.
So we can go through this pretty quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start from the beginning. We had Fred Rosser versus Kenta for the NJPW Strong Belt. Kenta goes over Fred Rosser in 16 minutes with help from Juice Robinson.
Just for the guy that watches, I think I'm the only one that watches NJPW Strong.
I've watched it 6 times.
Okay.
I want to say I maybe watch it like half the time. It's background noise a lot of time for me. I'll have it on when I'm working, but I don't watch it a lot.
I like the Fred Rosser run, but this wasn't a huge surprise, especially with how the rest of this card plays out. We'll talk about your boy as Bill's boy, Eddie Kingston, coming up here in a little bit. But
a lot of thoughts about that match.
I think this is a scenario where it felt like it was the right call to make. I like Fred Rosser's run, but Kenta to me is just a little more entertaining, a little more heelish, somebody that I can root against.
It's still kind of guys from the dojo, though. Like Kenta's going to put them through their paces. Like Kenta's going to hold that belt, and he's going to make a couple guys better. That's the whole point of that.
I thought Fred Rosser was already good, but I think this match.
No, Fred Rosser is, but he's not. He
doesn't need to get over. Other guys need to face Kenta and have Kenta
Fred
put them over.
Rosser's already over.
Yeah,
in JPW
without question.
Strong.
Without question.
Next up, we had the West Coast Wrecking Crew versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Jason, what you think about this match?
This is where I was probably the most disappointed because I thought West Coast Wrecking Crew should have won this match. It's not a diss against the Motor City Machine Guns. They're great.
They're just not New Japan.
It's not even New Japan. I just, for somebody that's watched New Japan Strong pretty much from the start, West Coast Wrestling Crew is one of those teams. But
what do you think of the match?
The match was good. It ended kind of abruptly where I was just like, oh, that's the end? Damn.
Right.
Okay. Damn, that sucks. And, I was like going through 30 seconds of different emotions. Oh, that sucks. Man, I'm pissed off. Okay, well, it's not that bad. Ultimately, this was a good match. There's a lot of really solid matches throughout. To me, once we get towards the end, that's when shit starts to get a little exciting.
Next up, we had Jay White versus Eddie Kingston. So if Jay White loses, or if Eddie Kingston loses, they are out of New Japan Pro Wrestling forever. Fucking this match was mega fun. the aftermatch was mega fun. Also, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. But
spoiler, Zach.
Jay White loses to Eddie Kingston. Jay White performed the fuck out of this match. Eddie Kingston performed the fuck out of this match. It was a pretty hard-hitting match. Jay White basically turns babyface in the middle of the match. Like, he keeps having these hope spots, and it was like, wait a minute. Like, are they going to have Jay White? I was legitimately in the bag for it. I was like,
you thought Jay White was turning babyface there?
I guess that's how good he is.
Okay.
Like, he really, like, yeah, he had me feeling like he was going to beat Eddie Kingston. Also, Eddie Kingston is a very strange pick. And I said this last week. I was like, what the fuck does Eddie Kingston have to do with this? He's not in New Japan. He's in AEW. And plus, it's not like if Jay White loses to him on his way out of New Japan, he's putting somebody over.
He did.
He wrestles strong a lot, though.
Yeah, but he put over Eddie Kingston. What's the point of that? Eddie Kingston's not a New Japan wrestler.
He put over Eddie Kingston. Jay White putting over Eddie Kingston, I don't care on what promotional level you want to go with it. To me, Jay White,
yeah, but what good does it do New Japan, though? Why would New Japan do that?
It ties up the Jay White scenario.
No, but this is what's so interesting to me, though, is that, like, why would New Japan, what deal was in place to have New Japan have Eddie Kingston be the one that retires Jay White out of New Japan? For now. I mean, he could be back. Of course. He probably will.
Yeah.
But what's the thinking behind that?
Oh, you're talking like long term. Is Eddie Kingston going to be a champion?
No, I'm talking New Japan has a massive roster of guys who could retire Jay White. They could have put him against Ren Narita. They could have put him against El Phantasmo. They could have put him against Will Ospreay. They could have put him against a lot of people. But they put him against Eddie Kingston, who's not
Hikuleo was the one.
Zach,
this is more of a
Zach, do you see my point?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know if it was just timing, or I don't know what they didn't put a ton of thought into it.
No, this is all loose ends. This is what happens when you have
but
a
do
guy.
Eddie Kingston and Jay White have a history?
Yes.
Where?
On New Japan Strong.
Yeah.
They've had beef before, and this beef just ultimately climaxed at the Battle of the Valley. Do I understand? I get what you're saying, but you can still put over Hikuleo on a Wrestle Kingdom level. And you can put over Eddie Kingston on the Battle of the Valley level.
Coughlin or where's Alex Zane? Where is Kevin Knight? Oh, Kevin Knight's getting ready to fight. Okay.
Clark Connors or somebody.
Clark
Connors wrestled at CSJ.
Where's Gabe Kidd? Like, where are these guys? Why can't they be the one to retire Jay White?
Right, okay, so any of those guys that you just named, do you think that they could legitimately beat Jay White?
As much as Eddie Kingston could.
Stop. No way.
Do you see my point?
I get your point.
About putting over a younger guy?
Yeah, but none of those younger guys could I mean, not even legitimately.
Eddie Kingston is 50 years old.
Okay,
He's a fucking pussy.
Okay, all right.
Come find me, Kingston.
This is about Phil's beef with Eddie Kingston. That's what it's about. It's not about the
Thank you. I was just getting ready to say that's what it is.
I love this match.
2 beer, 30 seconds.
I love the match.
Jay White versus Ren Narita. Who wins?
You mean like
if we rolled it out in New Japan right now?
It's fake, right?
I'm getting ready to make my
win. It could be Cheeseburger.
It couldn't be Cheeseburger. It couldn't be Cheeseburger. Okay, my point is fans wouldn't accept it.
Man, it'd be so funny if Cheeseburger came in and retired Jay White.
Niggas would lose their damn mind. It couldn't be.
That's brave booking.
No, that's brave booking. Ballsy booking.
Cheeseburger should beat Roman Reigns.
That's it. Cody, go home. Sammy, take a couple weeks off. We got it.
All right, we got to keep it moving.
Hey, I like the show already. I turned it on in the Grand Metal League in the first match.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the first match is fun.
8-man tag.
So after the match, David Finlay comes out and cuts a scorched earth promo.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking outstanding promo. David Finlay, it looks like they're, well, this was my interpretation. David Finlay is going to replace Jay White as the guy.
Leader of Bullet Club?
No. Oh, yeah, maybe. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. But he's the Gaijin that's going to be at the top of the card.
Over Will Ospreay?
No, not over Will Ospreay, but he's okay. How about a Gaijin?
Wait a minute, man. What are you talking about?
He had a fucking spectacular line in this
totally agree
promo
with
where he said, "When I'm in America, when I am in America, they call me Irish. When I'm in Ireland, they call me American.
A Gaijin or whatever.
And he goes, when I'm in Japan, they call me Gaijin. And he goes, I'm everywhere all the time. It was badass. It was a fucking spectacular.
It was a David Finlay breakout promo.
A+ promo. And it was right before Jay White was going to give his, like,
concession speech.
Goodbye.
Hey,
His goodbye
out.
promo. He's like, I love you guys. He was getting ready to say it. David Finlay comes in and fucks him up and then cuts that promo.
Damn.
That's major league shit. Major league shit.
David Finlay was always one of those guys that was on the cusp, lost here, lost there.
I thought he was like, he was one of the MVPs of last year's G1, no doubt.
Yeah.
Him and Ospreay
Right,
match.
yeah, without question. And even before that, he had good matches with that. But he always had, like, they teased David Finlay being a heel at one point, and that kind of went away. Now we going in full-blown David Finlay heel form fashion. I'm all for it. I want to see where this goes.
Hey, Zach, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to watch that promo?
I'd say a solid 8.
Next up, we had
I really like David Finlay.
Well, of course, he fucking rules.
No, he's excellent in the
Next
ring.
up, we had Tom Lawler versus Homicide in a Lawler rules match.
Filthy rules match.
Filthy rules match where there's no ropes. Why is Homicide fighting on the New Japan card? This is another case where they have so much fucking talent. Are they just not going to pay for one more plane ticket? So they got to call up Homicide to take a bunch of crazy bumps and almost die 4 times versus Tom Lawler. Anyway, Lawler goes over. It was good.
No, it was fine. Right guy went over, tap out, perfect. Move along.
Zach, on the scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to watch that match?
6. I like Filthy, and I think it'll be a nice change of pace because when I looked at this card, it really looked like a fantastic variety show. Like, this is a very strong card on paper, and this fills a gap, right? Like,
yep.
Here's your step match card or step match for the other card or whatever.
It's like fucking hee-haw. It really is. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Clark Connors. I said this either last week or the week before, but these TV title matches,
I think it was last week,
can't just be 14. They can't end be in between 14 minutes and 15 minutes every time. They need to sprinkle something in, and they did the exact same thing this time. Listen, Clark Connors is a talented motherfucker. Zack Sabre Jr. obviously is my dude, but there's almost no intrigue to this shit. If it goes after 12 minutes, you're like, well, I guess it's going. Or even if it goes after like 8 minutes, you're like,
shit, it's a 10-minute mark. It's a game on. Fuck, we got 5 minutes.
I guess it's going 14 and a half. It's just so predictable. I know it's a new belt, and I know they're trying something new, and they're probably trying to work through some shit. But you got to throw in Zack Sabre Jr. tapping some dude out in like 2 minutes at some point.
Then who's the guy he taps out in 2 minutes? That's all I'm saying.
Naito.
Anyway.
It was a fun match. Zack Sabre Jr. wins at 14 minutes and 19 seconds or something. Kevin Knight meets him, greets him at the top of the ramp. Looks like that's who we're going next. We already talked about Mercedes Moné and Kyrie, and then we had Tanahashi versus Okada.
The toothless Tanahashi.
This match is less interesting to me than what happened afterwards, but as two guys that have had one of the greatest trilogies of all time, actually it was probably 4 matches.
Shit, more than that.
But
Tanahashi and Okada, it's
Yeah.
like 15.
no,
more than that.
but it was like a Wrestle Kingdom, then a Dominion, then a Wrestle Kingdom or something. Like they have this famous trilogy of matches.
Oh, I see what you mean. Within their mini matches.
Within
they
their
had,
mini
I got you.
matches,
Yeah.
I'm saying that like those are the 3 matches. Like I looked at the Meltzer thing one night. It's like those are the 3 matches that everybody talks about. Anyway, I'm not that much of a New Japan historian. I've probably seen these guys fight 4 times though. In the last 4 years.
It's like the 97, 99, and 2000 Clutch albums. They've been doing it. I don't know.
Are you talking about Pure Rock Fury, Jam Room, and from Beal to shit. God damn, that was going to be so smooth. Here, I'll edit it out. Tanahashi versus Okada. Okada wins with the Rainmaker at about 22 minutes. It was
SOP.
Yep. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
SOPs. Okada's getting. I really feel like this is going to be another long, grinding Okada run. Obviously, Two Beer talked about the Noah title, not even title match, but the Noah match versus Kaito Kiyomiya. You had Tanahashi here. You had Shingo before that. So I mean, for Okada and. I don't care what this motherfucker said, this motherfucker being Bill last week. I don't think that fans are booing Okada because they're sick of Okada. I think fans are starting to boo Okada because Okada's deserving to get booed. He's doing heelish shit. So at that point, they're going to boo him. I don't care if he's the greatest champion in New Japan history or not. Arguably the greatest champion right now. The GOAT right now. I don't care about all that. When he starts doing these little heelish shit, these little things, and now you take away Jay White. I'll say it last week. I'm going to double down on it this week. Okada, Gato, they get back together. They going to have a heel run until Will Ospreay knocks him off.
Okay, but Okada has been doing kind of heel shit as the aforementioned period of time when he was trying to get the Money Club over.
Not like this.
No, but maybe that's part of the slow heel turn. Maybe this motherfucker he was like 33 years old and he was like, I'm going to do such a slow heel turn that people are going to think I'm a babyface until I'm 37. Nah. I got so much goodwill built up that I'm just going to do a 4-year heel turn.
The slowest burn of history.
Anyway, this match was good. I think that was what was more important was that the aftermatch promo that Okada cut in English where he was talking about how he wants to take the tag titles back. He's like, why don't you come out here and be my tag partner? Who's he talking about?
Tanahashi.
Okay. So Tanahashi doesn't come out. Who does come out? Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné comes out and stands there with Okada and says, maybe me and you should be tag team partners. And it was her being cute, but when I talk about Mercedes Moné winning, Sasha Banks winning the NJPW women's title, for them to get that still picture of Okada standing next to Sasha Banks, and I call her Sasha Banks, I'm not trying to dead name her or anything. I'm just saying, like, I think about her as Sasha Banks. She was Sasha Banks for so long. No, right. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to disrespect her. But for Sasha Banks to be standing next to Okada, and those are the 2 people that are representing your promotion
and closing the show, it's a big deal.
Closing the show, it's a huge fucking deal.
It's a big deal, no question about it.
What do you think, Zach?
I think Naomi's gonna be super pissed.
He's heating up.
No doubt.
But yeah, I agree. I think that would be like a fun mixed match. Maybe get Tanahashi and Kairi versus Okada and
but here's the thing.
Mercedes.
Here's the thing, though. Even if she was just coming out there trying to be cute and be like, "Hey, maybe me and you should be the tag team," at the same time, the NJPW pay-per-view ended with a shot of Kazuchika Okada and Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those things, you know, we say it on this podcast sometimes, but that's one of those things that if I would have told you 2 years ago, hey, you're going to be ending your podcast 2 years from now talking about how a New Japan pay-per-view with Sasha Banks and Okada standing side by side with their belts, your head would have flipped.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a fucking weird business. It is the weirdest fucking business of all time.
Never say never.
Anyway, that's
Yeah, I need to start going when it comes to wrestling.
that's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Let's get to those odds and ends.
This is banned from ringside.
Can't remember the last time an AEW Dynamite was not in the 3 count, but we're going to go through it as soon as possible.
Good job, Zach.
It's probably pre 2019.
It's been a long time.
Good job, Zach. Way to
We're still
fuck
going
up
to
the
talk
pod.
about it because it opened up with a 20-minute match between Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy.
Why am I laughing? Go ahead. I'll stop.
You're laughing because
Go ahead, do it. Get it over with.
There was some Twitter.
Forged in combat.
There was some Twitter chatter this week about Wheeler Yuta being forged in combat. Hey guys, I am forged in combat. Don't come at me, Orange Cassidy.
That's it. I'm going to call John Moxley.
I've been forged. Forged in combat.
Claudio slapped the shit out of me. I'm going to whip your ass now.
Anyway, this match fucking ruled. Like, I don't know if it was Orange Cassidy or Wheeler Yuta or both of them, but they had chemistry for days.
shit.
This was a very fun match. If it was on the pay-per-view, I would have given it 4 stars. That's how good this match was.
The fucked up part about it is that it took me like the first 5 minutes to get Bill's head or get Bill's voice out of my head to not fuck with.
Tell us. Do not fuck with me.
I was like,
I'm
okay,
forged in
Wheeler
combat.
Yuta is a good wrestler. Stop listening to Bill's voice and just let him go.
I am forged in combat, boys. You better back up. Just leave me alone. I'm forged in combat.
I'm the fucking pure champion, motherfucker.
I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I am forged in combat with John Moxley and
Claudio
Claudio
Castagnoli.
Cavallo.
This is a good match, no question about it.
It fucking ruled.
No, it was really good.
really good.
It was really good.
Up next, we had Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho. Listen, this feud doesn't make much sense. I thought that Jericho looked really dumb. Like, it was clearly,
Come on, dude.
It was like a comedy segment, though. But Ricky Starks,
you know what's happening, right?
Ricky Starks took my notes. Like, hey, cool it a little bit, dude. Hey, dude, just cool it a little bit.
Shit.
And then we had the Acclaimed versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill.
Yeah.
The Acclaimed rap was really funny here and popped Big Bill. Where he
The real Big Bill.
The real Big Bill, where he said something about his loins being SAWFT,
Soft.
but it rhymed.
Like, uh-oh.
And Big Bill like popped. Like,
I was like, all right, that's what's up.
they got him. They got him. Christian Cage beats up Jungle Boy on the ramp. Are we excited for this match?
Too little, too late.
You excited for this match,
No,
Zach?
Last year.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
The window was
Christian
closed.
Cage got hurt.
Yeah, and I get that.
So Christian Cage should have his son fight him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I would have been excited if they would have, like, the bringing Christian Cage back was so lame. Like, have Jungle Boy just be in a TV match against, like, whoever. Like, any, like, the TNT champion or, like, any title. There's 37 belts. Have him be in a title match and then have Christian Cage, like, screw him out of the title, and that's how he comes back. Instead, he's just up in the stands, like, yelling at him. It was, I don't know, like, it's not very impactful. Like, they had a hot story, and it's just, like, it's very lazy.
Yeah, but Christian got hurt, though.
I know, but I'm saying is you gotta heat it back up. You can't rely on that residual heat from 7 months ago.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm going to skip some shit here. I'm going to get to the Bryan Danielson MJF segment. Jason, while I was watching this, my brain went through a lot of different permutations. The first one being like, okay, MJF, like, I don't think the concussion thing is that. It's like shocking for the wrong reasons. Like, it doesn't really move the needle for me. It just seems so cheap for him to go after Daniel Bryan's concussions. And then we talked about, well, Daniel Bryan, he's giving up his family, which is something I've always wanted. That also kind of rang untrue, but I thought it was pretty smart as far as promos go. And then when he said something about, he said CT, and then Danielson punched him right before he could say CTE, and then they had a pull apart brawl. I've asked you this before, and I'll ask you this again.
Okay.
Are you okay with concussion storylines in wrestling? It seems pretty strange. It seems like they're so close. It seems like MJF is so close to saying the word Benoit. And he said Danielson's kids' names during the promo last night, which seemed to me, now maybe I'm a mark, and I am a mark. I was like, I am too. I was like, come on, man. Like, what am I watching?
No, you're watching kind of an Attitude Era-esque MJF promo. To me, the two things that rang the biggest for me personally, when he was talking about, MJF was talking about Bryan Danielson being selfish and he's putting wrestling before his family, yada, yada.
It was good.
Well, apparently the backstory behind it is MJF and his fiance broke it off. And he spun that into this promo that we saw last night.
Yeah, I don't care about 26-year-olds breaking up, though.
Here's the thing. You know what I love about this is MJF is so good. He's so good that I don't even know whether
what's real reality, or
whether
it's not.
A, they broke up, or B, he's so good he might have just, like, they could have been friends and they just manufactured this whole relationship just for this storyline. You know what I mean? Like,
or he just made it up out of whole cloth.
Yeah, I have no idea what's real.
But MJF is that good to where now a small, like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. So you can kind of see, why he's going down the low road.
Zach,
I'm talking to the kids.
Where are you at with concussion storylines in pro wrestling?
My answer, I have no problem with it.
I think it's a little situational. I do not like the fake concussion storylines, especially if it's someone who has a history of it, where you're playing for sympathy based on like a legitimate legitimate injury. Like if Daniel Bryan was like faking a concussion, I feel like that's a little cheesy. Now bringing up real life stuff like in a promo, I don't necessarily have a problem with it.
Agreed.
But if you're trying to work the crowd based on, because I feel like the modern wrestling crowd is an empathetic crowd. Like we don't want people to be hurt. If they would have had that
fight and then Bryan Danielson would have been concussed, quote unquote. Okay, now we got the line that needs to be drawn.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Adam Cole's first match back, he gets clotheslined and like
concussed,
out of
quote
it,
unquote,
and they call it off. Like that's like way too carny. Like because we're invested in them as people. They're not just like characters. Like they are characters, but at the same time, like we as a modern wrestling audience.
Right.
Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. Now, I can't say the same for the people in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s.
Well, you're that's kind of a good segue into what I was going to say. Like, I was born in 1979. Maxwell Jacob Friedman is 26, so he was born in 1997. Okay, so that's 18 years after me. So when I found out about Chris Benoit, I was 26, 27, something like that. When did it happen? 2005, 2006, something like that.
Feels right. I was going to say it's mid-2000s.
But like when it happened,
try to guess it.
When it happened, Maxwell Jacob Friedman was like 7.
Right.
So it doesn't. It's probably like us making like. It's probably like my generation making Manson murders jokes. And not thinking like it's that big of a deal, or it does. Like I'm not being sentimental about it. I'm just saying when Chris Benoit happened, I was an adult, and I was like, holy shit, that is fucked. That's fucked up.
What the fuck?
But like when other shit happens when I'm young, it just doesn't seem like as big of a deal. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Yep. Or if it happened, dude, joke about the Titanic, whatever. There was a horrible tragedy at the time, and we were just
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
They made a movie. They made a movie about it, and I got to see my first pair of
over
titties.
100 million
Have you guys ever seen True Blood? But
On True Blood, on weed?
I don't know. Like, if I was thinking last night while I was watching AEW, I was like, what if he said Chris Benoit's name during this promo? Like, would that be a bridge too far, right?
Yeah, that's probably one step too far.
Zach?
I don't know.
Zach's
For
like, ooh, that
MJF.
would get over. Zach's like, oh,
No,
man, that would
come
really
on,
pop
man.
the crowd, wouldn't it?
Ooh, he said Chris Benoit.
That sounds cool.
Dude, no, you can't say Chris Benoit, dude.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry.
Zach, answer honestly.
For MJF, I don't know, I
MJF,
think
he's
he can
into
figure it out. I think you can figure it out.
Nah,
and,
man, no.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying it'd be classy. I'm not saying it'd be cool, but it would definitely.
But I understand.
But I understand it. Yeah.
He said, I can't kill that bitch, but you can shake the shit out of her.
But I understand. We had a tag team battle royal, basically, to find out who the third team is in the Fatal 4-Way tag team match at Revolution. Turns out it's Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Any thoughts? I thought that Penta and Phoenix were clearly the best thing about this match.
Jesus.
They were doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do.
God
They were
bless
like
them.
kids on a playground.
Yeah. 20 guys, and I could do whatever I want.
Yeah, and they're
Fine.
and they respect me. They watch this kid. They're just fucking dudes up. It was really fun. They were really fun.
The team I thought was going to win won, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right, and finally we had John Moxley versus Evil Uno. I mean, the dream match that everybody knew they wanted.
You talk shit, you get hit.
Zach, I know you didn't watch this match. I want you to give me 30 seconds of commentary like you did watch the match. Go ahead.
So John Moxley, even though he's a much bigger star than Evil Uno, gave him a lot. Evil Uno is a very solid wrestler, definitely not a marquee guy, but in the end, Evil Uno is not going to beat John Moxley, and I don't think anybody in the crowd thought the same. So this match didn't have a whole lot of heat, and definitely a strange main event.
So
You ain't too far off.
listen.
Really? Okay.
You ain't too far off.
I thought this was a strange main event. Nobody in the crowd believed that Uno was going to go over Moxley, and Moxley's a much bigger star than Uno. I'm just trying to remember what Zach said.
No, that's about to say
Why was this the main event? What the fuck were they doing?
It sets
you know
up.
what?
It sets up the Texas Death Match. Nothing more.
There was blood all over the place again.
Whew. Oh, it was more so from Evil Uno.
Who cares? Why is it so bloody?
Okay.
He's gonna bleed in the pay-per-view.
Okay, stop. All right, everybody.
It's so fucking stupid.
Okay. It's not even.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's not even about Evil Uno bleeding everywhere. It's more so about John Moxley bleeding everywhere. It's one time too. It's
okay.
5 times too many.
It was
Okay.
good.
He's trying
Let's
to
spread
get
these.
a Tampax sponsorship.
Jesus Christ.
Very, very stupid.
It's just
Really
it's a
stupid.
lot, and just if they just have him bleed in the right spots, it would make more sense. It's just when it's every week, now it's like a WWE kind of thing. Okay, when's John gonna bleed? When's John gonna bleed? And it shouldn't be like that. John Moxley's one of the their best wrestlers, and it shouldn't be a comedy scenario when he comes out of talking about when he's gonna bleed.
All right, let me ask you this: would you rather watch the 60-minute match between Bryan Danielson and MJF,
Okay.
or Cody versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?
I got to choose? Jesus Christ.
Hypothetically.
No, Zach can go first on this one.
Zach, you got an answer?
I think I'd still lean Danielson MJF, and that is with me not liking the step. I'm not into the Iron Man thing. But Danielson's so great, and I have a higher opinion of MJF in the ring than Bill does.
The end of the bloodline versus the continuation of MJF's title run. It shouldn't even be this difficult to think about it because for a 3-year storyline,
I didn't think about it in those contexts. In that sense, like it's an easy choice.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Cody and Roman is not just Cody and Roman. It's the storylines behind it. MJF and Danielson not as deep. The better match, probably the Iron Man match, but the one I want to see more, Cody and Roman.
What was your answer, Zach?
I'll agree with Jason. He convinced me, but in the same sense, like the better match will be the AEW match, but the more important and the more memorable match will be the WrestleMania match.
You guys surprised me. All three of us are in agreement.
Whoa! I thought you was going to take the other side.
Nope.
Okay.
I think that I want to see Cody and Roman more just because I'm so interested in how they book it. Roman Reigns matches are usually, their title matches are usually pretty fun to watch.
Him talking to Sammy's wife, I thought was a nice little touch.
He hasn't had a lot of bad ones.
Not really.
Dude, Roman Reigns is underrated.
Yes, and I get...
Is that a thing? No. Roman Reigns is not underrated.
Even though Bryan Danielson is my favorite wrestler of all time, and I've said MJF on this podcast. I've said MJF is above average in the ring. I just don't think he's elite. But I trust Bryan Danielson. See, now I'm talking myself into the other thing. Now I'm talking myself into the other one.
I was going to say, you talking yourself into this shit.
Because Bryan Danielson's so fucking good. In fact, I wish Bryan Danielson was in that match either in Roman Reigns' spot or Cody Rhodes' spot.
Oh, stop. We've already seen it.
I don't care. I don't care. I'd watch it again. That's how good I think Bryan Danielson is. But I will take Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns because I'm so interested in how they book it.
Agreed.
And it's a really fun place to be. We're in a good spot in wrestling. Like we are having fun.
Arguing about whether Sami Zayn deserves to be in the title picture or not is a good thing.
We are having fun, and that's going to do it for our odds and ends.
This is Banned from Ringside.
We got some birthdays this week. Shinsuke Nakamura is 43.
Oh, Shinsuke.
Just a couple months younger than me. Corey Graves is 39. Sean O'Hare, I didn't write it down, but R.I.P. He probably would have been like 50. Maria Kanellis is 41. Ric Flair is 74. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? He made it.
Still alive, baby.
Pentagon Jr. or Penta.
Sarah Miero
is 38. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is
my boy.
70.
Damn,
Norman Smiley is 58. You remember Norman Smiley? Love Norman Smiley.
Oh, WCW.
He's still doing agenting, and
he was on Impact a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought he was like a trainer or something like that. Yeah. Mike Tenay.
Still alive.
He's the precursor to Excalibur. Like Mike Tenay is one of my favorite wrestling announcers of all time. That's awesome.
Don West recently passed.
Mike Tenay is awesome. Was awesome. Booker T, 58.
Wow.
Black don't crack. Big E, 37. Next due, I guess.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck,
It would have been funny if I would have said vertebrae, dude. God dang it. That's 2 times I've fucked up tonight. We love you, Biggie.
Definitely, man.
Come back soon, man.
No, just come back whenever
I
you're
hope
ready,
Biggie shows up like the night after WrestleMania. That'd be fun.
That would be cool.
Emma is 34, and Kyle O'Reilly is 38. Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For my wife, Erin, for my cat, Xander, for my cat, Millie, for my dog, Reba, for Tender Mahal, for
your daughter,
Vice, for Edna May, baby. Yeah. For Tender Mahal, for Vice, for Murray the Murderman Murray, for Patriot Pat, for Soul Taco, for Shock City Studios, for Sam the Mauler Mauler, for Two Beer Zach Bowman. That's Jason Cornelius.
Good to you all, bitches.
Tip your local weed dealers. And I'm Bill Baggy, Boo the Heels.
Boo, bitch.